Here with Kabir, the 15-year-old property entrepreneur. Kabir, so you've come to one of my events today.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
It was great because what I realized was that usually I go to these other people who sell courses in the same area of property, and they usually just try to upsell you into something and then they try to sell it to you again. But TJ here, he just up front, he tells you everything. Like for the other day, he ran a course for like 14 to 17-year-olds. Like he gave us for free, and that's like crazy to think about. So he does give you value. So do check him out.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Enough about me, so I want to talk about you. So let me interview you. I know this is a bit impromptu, so we just decided, some people are going to say it's not impromptu because we've got studio lights. This is my office, guys, so we've got studio lights in my office. So Kabir is hungry, a super hungry entrepreneur. He's eager to get rocking and rolling in property. So I want to find out a bit more about you. A number of questions. Number one, why are you so hungry? Number two, why property? So let's start with number one. Why are you so hungry to generate money from property, and what's driving you in this journey?
Okay, so what's driving me in property is that basically I want to create this kind of life where I don't want to go a 9-to-5 job, because I've spoken to several other people who said it's not like they hated it, and I don't want, you have one life in this world, you only have a certain amount of years, certain amount of days and weeks. I don't want to waste it on a 9-to-5. It's just boring, and I have one life. Like, you have one life. I don't know what you guys believe in, but I believe you have one life. I don't want to waste it. So property is the key to get me a better life, and I can spend more time doing the things I want and helping other people. For example, there was a 17-year-old kid. He messaged me on Instagram. He was like, "You've inspired me," or something. Like, I was about to go to sleep. It was late, but I got a message. So I read it. It was like, "You inspired." I watched your YouTube videos, like vlogs, and there was a video I did on Instagram story. He watched it, and he said that I got really inspired. I was going to start investing next year when I turn 18, but because of you, I'm going to start investing now from today. And I want more of that. I want to help more people around my age, because usually, in this area, they charge you 4K, 1.4K, and that's nothing wrong. But for someone around my age, I can't really pay that. Or I can't really ask my parents; they'll kill me.
I get that completely. So if I understand correctly, you want to get to a place where you can live your life on your own terms.
Yeah.
And then you would love to get to a place where you are helping other people live life on their own terms.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you mentioned that the 9-to-5 you don't think can give you that freedom. So there are many people who are trying to go down the 9-to-5 route. Now, there's nothing wrong with the 9-to-5 route, but can you explain why you think you can do more outside of a 9-to-5 than being stuck in a 9-to-5?
Because it's the time. Because 9-to-5 is probably draining your energy. Like, for example, I have school, which isn't like 9-to-5, but it's like 6 hours of a day.
It's like a whole job.
Yeah, I come back from school and I just feel tired as hell. But then I have these agents ringing me. Was on breaks at school. I have to go to the toilet to check my phone. And these agents saying, "Oh, can you call me right now? I need a call with you." So about this property, that property. I just make excuses saying I'm with clients. But then when I come back from school, I'm just so tired, I just want to go to sleep. But then I have to pick up these calls. So I think a 9-to-5, it really depletes your energy, and you need energy in this game and your motivation. So that's why I want to get out of that I can do what I want, when I want, and on my own terms. 9-to-5 is really it just controls your life. I don't like that.
So it's interesting you say that, because ultimately it sounds like you want freedom.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do what you want when you want to do it. See, a lot of people spend so much of their time doing stuff that they don't want to do. And it's amazing to see someone so young that's made up their mind and pretty much going against the grain, which is the definition of an entrepreneur. You're saying, this is the life that I desire to live, and I know what I have to do to get it. So well done in saying that.
Okay.
Now, something that I find interesting is a lot of people are looking for kind of get-rich-quick schemes. Now, you've been in property for how many months now? Around 6 months. So you can testify that property is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, it's not.
And you've had to put in a lot of work. What kind of work have you had to do to even get to the understanding or the level that you are at right now?
When I first started, like legit every week I used to go to 3 events. Every free event on Eventbrite or anything, I used to just book them, and some of them are a bit of a waste of your time. But then you do understand that, like, when you start getting into this game, you will understand that some of them they'll try to upsell you. But you know, it's taken a lot of energy, a lot of time, my own time. Like I could have stayed home and played games like any other kid, but I decided to go to these 3 events. Also, there's a lot of no's in this game. And you will get. Don't think I'm just gonna go talk to the agent. Or can I do rent? Or can I do SA? And they'll say yes, and then you'll make 1K. It doesn't work like that. You will get so many no's. I got so many no's when I first started calling. Some of them were actually rude to me, but like keep your posture and just be professional. Like sometimes when I first started out, I felt like, was this for me? Like when I started getting no's, it kind of fills you with doubt. You look up Facebook, Instagram, and you look at these people saying, I just closed on 5 units, and you're like, whoa, what the hell? How do you do that? I can't even get one deal. And I say, don't compare with other people. You don't know the situation, first of all. And you will get enough no's, but just keep this in mind. Just don't quit. Just keep that in your head. Just don't quit, and you'll make it. Because the only time you're going to fail is if you quit.
Wow. See, that is powerful, guys. I'm sure he doesn't know how powerful that is. See, even as adults, many people start businesses or they get into some sort of scheme or strategy and they think it's going to be plain sailing. And here you have a 15-year-old who's saying, it is not. He's saying what we all know, which is it's going to be hard work and you're going to have to take rejections, because rejections, I guess, is part of the game.
Yeah.
So every time you've had a rejection, what's that forced you to do? Has it forced you to go back home and re-strategize, make your pitch better, make your script better? What's the no's done for you?
Yeah, so basically when I started getting a lot of no's, I had to go back and look at what I was saying to these agents. And I started talk to other people on Facebook as well, like shout out Gov, he helped me out a lot.
Gov.
When I first started talking to agents, I started getting a lot of no's. So then I stopped and I asked other people on Facebook saying, why am I getting like these kind of rejections and stuff like that? So then I had to look at my script. I don't like scripts, but I mean baseline script. And I would say, okay, what can't I say and what can I say? And then I started changing it, and then I started to get more yeses, and there were still no's, and I still had to change it. So if it doesn't work, if it's not working, like you spoke to every agent and say no, change the script, look back at it, take time back to look at what you're saying and the way you're saying it, and yeah.
Okay, so you've been in property for 6 months now.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've been learning. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions. First question is, how powerful or how important do you feel it is to go to events, number 1? And number 2, where do you think you're going to be in the next 6 months?
Alright, so first question, events are so important. Like, if I didn't go to events, I wouldn't be here. Like even the free ones, they do teach you a lot. Like, for example, TJ's one, this one's so valuable, You should actually charge this one.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, basically, they're so valuable. You literally just, you can just take your Saturday off, go to the TJ's event or someone else's that's free. You get so much free information, and on online YouTube, it's so valuable. Then you can learn about all the strategies and what you actually want to do. And once you're talking to the agents, you know what you're talking about. Like, you're not just talking, I know some people, they just watch one video and then start talking to agents, and then they make a fool of themselves.
Yeah.
And, and it builds your confidence up, because you know what you're talking about and you know what you're getting yourself into. And the second question was, I forgot.
Oh, no, no problem. So the second question is, you've achieved so much in the last 6 months. Let me just add some info to it. So you've been in property for 6 months. You've achieved so much in terms of learning about different strategies, knowing what strategy you want to go into. Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months? Do you think you would have 1 service accommodation, 5 HMOs, selling a few deals? What's the goal?
Okay, in the next 6 months, I see myself, first of all, I'll be sourcing, like right now I just want to source them on, but I will 100% be taking on like SAs and HMOs, because my game plan right now is to at least do one deal. I'm focusing on just closing that one deal. Then I use that money to start up the company, but not under my name, of course. I'm under someone else's name in my family, and they've agreed to it and everything. And then I start basically sourcing. I start running the essays through that company. That's my game plan. Also, once I do that, I actually want to start up a training kind of company, but it's targeted not towards adults but to teens, because a lot of teens, they don't know, usually this market is targeted towards adults, but that's usually like they have money, money and all that stuff, and these courses are like 1.4k. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but for us, like 15-year-olds, or can't really afford that. So I want to create an affordable and valuable training for teens, and I've also and for the venues and stuff at my school, I don't know, I found out you can rent the hall for like £55. I don't know how to make money, but that's my game plan. So yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you would love to get yourself a service accommodation.
Yeah.
You'd love to trade a deal.
Yep.
So it's interesting because most people watching this will say, well, legally you can't. Now, that hasn't stopped you from finding a solution. So you're now partnering with family members in order to start this business.
Yep.
So what would you say for people who are, their mindset is, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I can't do this? Because you've shown the definition of, if you need something to be done, find a way around it. What kind of message would you give to someone who's not sure or who's on the fence and they just need a push?
So what I would say to them is that age isn't an excuse, and you shouldn't make an excuse for that. You shouldn't say, oh, I can't do something because of my age. You can be 14, 13, 12, I don't know, 105, you can still do this game. For example, you could just put it on someone else's name. You can still call agents. They don't know you're 15 or 25 over the phone. Now, viewings, I know some people say to me, oh, well, you have a beard, you look like you're 25 with 3 kids. But look, you can get someone else to view it for you. There's a lot of people you can just pay, I don't know, 5 or... Look, if you're in the London area, you can even get me to do it. I'll view it for you. I don't mind. It's experience for me, and I'll tell you all the numbers and all that. You shouldn't make that an excuse saying, I can't view them myself, so I won't put myself in the game. Because that's just another excuse. And it's literally, you're making excuses. Like, if I asked a lot of people at my age, do you want to become a millionaire? They'll say yes. And then if I asked them, would you do whatever it takes? They'll say yes. But when they actually do that, when they actually, I tell them, cool, do this. For example, I had a friend, I'm not calling him out, but I said, okay, do these many calls and do this and that. And he was like, oh yeah, but I go home at like 5 o'clock, this, that. I'm like, okay, cool, do it after school. When I'm walking home, I do calls. Then I said, what about viewings? He's like, oh, I don't look old enough. I was like, cool, I'll view it for you. But he's like, oh, but this, that. I'm like, just don't make excuses, because that will legit, if you're making excuses, that's the difference between you being broke for the rest of your life or you being a billionaire on a yacht.
Yeah. So he's busy making excuses, whereas you're finding solutions.
Yeah.
And that's one major difference between people who ever achieve anything. So I'm proud that you're 15 and you're this hungry and you're this smart and you're this hungry to take over the world. Now, guys, yes, he's 15. Yes, many entrepreneurs started when they were 15 and 16, and look what they've been able to achieve now. So Kabir's looking to work with investors or people who are planning to get into property and just need advice, or they need a JV partner, or they need someone to do the work. So he has the time and he has the charisma and the ability to do the work. So if you're thinking about getting into property and you want to invest your time and maybe some money in someone that's super hungry, in fact, someone that's hungrier than most adults, because he's at that stage in his life where he feels like this is going to make or break him. And that's the place where you want to be. You want to be at a place where you feel that this is my do or die. This is what I want to achieve. And that's exactly where he is. So if you're thinking about getting into property, or you don't know how to make money from property, or you don't have the time to run your service accommodation yourself or find a deal yourself, then how can they reach out to you? What's your YouTube and what's your Facebook name?
So my YouTube channel is Kabir, Young Property Entrepreneur, and my Facebook is just Kabir Habibakht, and that's Hibabakht. And also, I wanted to say that I know like a lot of kids nowadays. Like I was talking to my friend, he was like, "Oh, well, my parents want me to do this, that, that." It's like, well, it's not like I'm not saying be rude to your parents, but I'm saying it's your life at the end of the day. Like I'm not saying tell your parents or but I'm saying at the end of the day, it's your life. You do have to make some decisions at the end of the day. Like sometimes my parents say, "Oh, why don't you become a doctor? Why don't you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I want to do this." So I took control. I'm not being rude to them, but I did take control. And I know it's some of you are in year 11, like me, GCSEs. I think if you have GCSEs like me, don't say, "Oh, I'll do it after GCSEs," because then you're wasting more time and you're making more excuses. And really, in my opinion, GCSEs, like, I don't know, I feel like that's a waste of your time on its own, because you go to school to make money, to get a job to make money. Now, if you just cut out that GCSE part and that 7-year uni part and make 10 times more money, why wouldn't you do it?
Well, that's a very interesting perspective, because a lot of people watching this would say, well, at least get the education behind you. And I probably stand on that side in terms of, well, firstly, this is where I stand. If you're already in there, complete it. So don't drop out of school. If you haven't been to school, which is a legal requirement, then maybe don't go to school. But if you haven't gone to uni and you know that that's not what you want to go for, then maybe don't consider it. But if you're already in uni, part of being an entrepreneur is actually seeing through what you've started as well. Interesting point that you make. What about the kids that have to persuade their parents to allow them to at least pursue this entrepreneurial journey? What would you say, or what did you have to say to convince your parents to even give you some time and maybe some support?
So my parents were actually, like, my dad was okay with it because he owns a business and like that entrepreneur kind of thing. But my mum wasn't. She was like, because she did A levels and all that, and she was like, and even when she's against property because her dad actually, I don't know what he did. Like he bought I don't know. He did some weird deal with some guy and he lost like a ton of money. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not your dad. At the end of the day. There's contracts and stuff that he should have put in place in it. But what I said to my mom, I was like, look, she wanted me to get good GCSEs, and I said, okay, I'll cut you a deal. You let me do this, focus on this now. I'll at least try to do this. If you guys have parents who are like strict, say this, okay, look, I'm not going to flop my GCSEs, but let me focus on this now, and I'll at least get X amount of grades. Now, I know that's kind of... like, for example...
No, see, that's a definition of an entrepreneur, because that's negotiation. So that's why you're going to do well in property, because property is all about negotiating on the numbers.
Yeah.
And your mum says, I don't want you to do property. And you said, well, mum, how about we do a deal? I will get X amount of grades, and you allow me the freedom to do what I want to do, which is absolutely amazing. So what I would say, guys, if you want to reach out to Kabir, I will put his YouTube link and his Facebook link below. If you just want to give him a shout out and just encourage him on his journey, because as I said, there are lots of adults that want to get into property and they keep making excuses. Yet you've got a young man here that's saying, I want to take my life into my own hands and I'm going to make it. So guys, as I said, I wish you all the best. We'll catch up with you soon. And say bye to them, Kabir.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Peace.
guys.